let's turn to the Rockets,
Mm,
who have drama. I guess that's not even turning to better news, right? That's more bad news. It's just more drama, right? Drama,
right.
drama. So you have Harden asking out, and you have Westbrook asking out, and it seems like Harden. There were whispers behind the scenes nobody knew about, and Westbrook probably caught a hold of that and said, "Well, you're not firing me. I quit." You know what I mean?
Right.
So where do you go with Houston? What did they do here?
Houston, they did this experiment that no one thought would work except for them, right? Everybody is like, sure, you can play some small ball, but you are not going to do that in the playoffs. And they showed some success in regular season on some games, but when they got to the playoffs, what everybody thought would happen started happening, right? And so the funny thing is that okay, the GM Daryl Morey says, Psh, "Peace, I'm out." After they blew up that entire lineup, traded away their future essentially, and to get Westbrook and then all these other things they got going on. So now D'Antoni says, "I'm not coming back." Morey says, "I'm not coming back." Uh, they sign a young coach and Silas and get a new GM that the and you know how superstars get, how we want you to run
Right.
everything by us. And apparently Houston did all these pick all these moves without consulting James Harden and Russ, and they're salty about it. And they're like, look, we must not be part of your future if you're making decisions this big and not consulting us. So Harden says, I want out. The crazy thing is, Harden says, and it came out in the Chronicle, Houston Chronicle, that they actually confirmed that he actually did say, trade me to Brooklyn. Now, I heard Houston is like, we really ain't got to do anything. Both of them are under contract, and the NBA is not like the NFL. If
Mhm.
you hold out in the NFL, your contract doesn't stop. But in the NBA, if you hold out 6 months, your contract's not in effect for that 6 months. So that means you still owe, like if he holds out a year and he has 2 years left on his contract, he
Mhm.
still has 2 years left on his contract at the end of it. So it does an NBA player no good to hold out unless they really, really think they're going to get moved. And they're not the type of players to do that anyway, Harden and Russ. So Houston's like, we may let things get real uncomfortable. I saw that on the
Right.
jump the other day. We'll let things get real uncomfortable before we just trade y'all for pennies. So,
Hopefully Houston learns from player past, right? We
right.
saw this with there's been a couple of examples of this. The two that come to mind are Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. Both
Right.
players came to them and said, "I want to go away from here now." Right? AD with Clutch said, "I don't want to play here anymore," but he was on the last year of his
Right.
contract, and he said, "I want to go to LA." So he
Right.
had all the power,
All the
right?
power in that.
Because he scared off any other team that wanted to come after him, right? Because he's like, "Well, you can trade for me, but I'm not re-signing. I'm going to LA."
Right. Right.
Then you have Kyrie, who supposedly threatened to sit out with knee surgery and
Right.
forced his way out. Neither the Pelicans got a lot for Anthony Davis, right? They
Right.
got the mother load. They got a lot of people think the Lakers threw in one or two too many picks, considering they got Ingram and Lonzo and Hart.
Right.
But he still got to go to where he wanted. He was on the last year, so being on that last year really pushed the hand of the Pels.
Yeah.
If I'm Houston, I say, let me think about this for a second. No,
Right.
no, I'm not going to just trade you to Brooklyn. You have
Right.
2 years left on your deal. Brooklyn does not have a superstar on their team, and they don't even have somebody with as much promise as a Brandon Ingram on their
No.
team. So not only are you not going to get a star back, you might not even get a potential all-star back.
Right.
So I'm just saying no.
Yeah.
No, you're going to
Brooklyn,
you're going to
you
play.
can't make it work.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
don't
make that work.
there's only one team I see this working for, and that's Philly.
Right.
Cuz Philly has Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, and they could
Right.
trade either one of those and you'd be like, okay, well,
We'll do that.
Simmons plus, a pick or a pick swap or two, and you'd be like, you could walk away with that thinking, okay, I can live with that. But
Right.
to come out and be like, nah, I want to go to Brooklyn, nah, fam.
Thank, thanks for your input.
Yeah,
We'll take that into
I
consideration.
appreciate that, right? Yeah, when he said that, I wonder if Kyrie was like, y'all ain't gonna trade me, are you?" Right? Because you
Yeah,
got to get somebody back.
right. And KD and Kyrie playing with James Harden, that just ain't gonna work. KD can play with pretty much anybody. He's proved that. The way his game is, he's gonna do it, and you can dribble all day, and KD's still gonna outscore you, bro. He's still gonna do his thing if he's looking good. Matt Barnes reported that KD has been working out, and he's just like, that dude had an Achilles tear. Like he's seen him work out, but working outs versus playing is
Yeah.
different.
It's kind of like all the free agent speculation and trade speculation. I've gotten to the point where I try to just let stuff happen,
Right, right.
because the whole like, well, I heard this and he looks great. And it's like, what are they
Yeah,
supposed to say? Like, Matt Barnes is a former player. Was he supposed to be like, yeah, looked a step slow on defense there, buddy? Like, what is he supposed to say there? So
right.
I,
Well, speaking of the rumors, is with Houston, I heard that there's rumors that they're talking to Washington and may trade Westbrook for John Wall, but they don't want to make that even. They want more from Washington than just John Wall for Westbrook.
mhm.
But like you said, John Wall's always coming off of injuries. I mean,
Yep.
that's just what it is. But Achilles is bad. So Houston looks like they're blowing up everything. They moved Covington already to Portland, and I
Well,
think they're gonna blow it up. But I just don't know because they don't really. Their lineup doesn't work as is, and they don't have a lot of things to do to fix it because Daryl Morey and them
right.
gambled everything
Mhm.
on the small ball. So they're trying to figure out how to do these things. And that's one thing you can do with moving Westbrook or Harden. You want one superstar back, but you need to be able to trade them for multiple players. You need one of them at least to get
Well, I
some.
think it comes down to, where do you fall on Westbrook? Like, what do you think of him as a player?
You know what? Westbrook when he was in OKC was everybody had a very high opinion of him. And one thing that I believe is Westbrook's thing is I'm playing on a team that's shouldn't be performing like it is, and his drive, his overdrive, his just hard tenacious playing style makes him stand out. But you put him on a team that has championship expectations, then the negatives are more personified. They're more amplified. So the West Brick, he has his nickname, because he's always missing these jump
It's
shots.
tragic.
On a team that shoots nothing but 3-pointers, they make a
Right.
rule that says Russ can shoot mid-range shots, because we know he can't shoot it. Those things were more glaring, and now his stock has come down quite a bit. Where he was MVP getting all those triple doubles, they didn't care if he got triple doubles in Houston.
Well, he looked really good for like 2 months before the bubble. And then
Yeah.
he got the Rona, right? He got the vid.
Right.
And in the bubble, the Lakers basically just laughed at him, which is not what you want to
No.
see in a playoff series. They literally were laughing at him. And that's sad,
Yeah.
because I am of the mind that Westbrook is a great player on bad teams. I don't think Russell Westbrook can be your best player or your second best player if you want to win a championship.
Right.
I just
Well,
don't.
his style of play is very specific, and he likes ISO and stuff like that, and so I think he can still be a second best player depending on who that other player is.
Right. Okay, so
Uh,
name that other player. Where would he
well,
go where he's the second best player and you're saying we can be one of the last four teams to win a championship?
I mean, LeBron go the like. I guess he wouldn't be second best on the Lakers, but
Right?
because he can do. I mean, he gets a lot of rebounds for a point guard. He gets his pass. He gets his passes, his dimes, even though some of those are manufactured assists
Right.
just to try to get you can't barely sometimes manufacturing rebounds, you still got to work for it. The other team's not
Right.
just going to hand them to you. So he brings value in certain ways, but the problem with Russ is that just like a lot of players, just like Harden,
Hmm.
actually, Harden has a very specific style, and a lot of teams are saying he may be the greatest scorer that we've seen in modern day history, but I don't think he fits on my team, which is hard to swallow. But that's how Harden is, and I think Westbrook's the same way. They have very specific styles, and you have to kind of play their way,
Hmm.
or they have to uh, and when they get older, they may run into Carmelo problems
Yeah.
where he had a very specific way he played, and
Right.
a lot of teams are like, "You don't fit us," and they have to change.
Well, the second he's an athletic freak.
Right,
Um, he is an amazing player. I just don't know that he puts you in a championship position. I
right,
think he's fun to watch. I think if you want to see somebody that plays his heart out every single game and will run through a wall for a team, then Westbrook's your guy. But
right.
if you want to see somebody win a championship, I don't know that he does it. And I think Harden's going to have to change his play style too, because he's been catered to in Houston to play Harden ball. I mean, I don't
That's right.
hero ball, whatever you want to call it. He has the ball, he dribbles it for 20 seconds and then either shoots or passes it to, somebody in a corner for a three. And
Right,
that's his game. It's Some people love James Harden. Some people hate watching that type of basketball.
right.
I fall kind of in the middle where I appreciate how good of a player he is, but it's not the most appealing team to watch, right? Like
Yeah,
it's the anti-Warriors type of movement of the ball. It's just him
right.
dribbling and doing step backs and flopping basically. Like
Yeah,
not flopping, but drawing contact. We could be nice. He's drawing fouls,
right.
but if he goes to the Nets, you really think Katie and Kyrie are going to be like, all right, do your thing, James. Let's watch you dribble the ball for 20 seconds.
No, he can't dribble the blood out of the ball on certain teams, and I think a lot of that has to go with. I mean, like look at the Warriors for instance. Some people thought KD going to that great team, how's it going to work because he was so dominant with him and Russ and OKC, and he loved playing their style of basketball because everybody sees their style of basketball was proven
Hmm.
and tried and true. I think some of these superstars come in and think they know best because some systems or some coaches haven't been proven. So I think in order for them to change their ways, Russ and Harden, they'd have to technically go somewhere where the coach is the coach is more dominant and their style is. And you thought that with
Well,
Russ
that
with
can't be the
D'Antoni.
Nets, right? Where
Mm,
Kyrie and KD are like, we don't really have a head coach.
yeah, yeah,
it's a
we're
it's
all
a
playing together.
collaboration.
Yeah, I wonder what Steve Nash thinks about Harden coming there. He probably I didn't sign up for this.
It's got to be tough. All right, so let's play a little game.
All right,
Is is Westbrook on Houston game 1 of the season?
Westbrook. No,
Okay.
Westbrook's gonna get traded.
He's gone. Okay.
He's gone.
Is James Harden on Houston game 1 of the season?
Yes, I think he is.
I agree.
I think he's gonna be there. I think Westbrook. They're gonna trade for multiple players,
Mhm.
and you can get less for him because some people aren't gonna try to pay. His stock is a little lower. But with James Harden, you know that you want something major back for that caliber of player, and so they're willing to wait for it.
Yeah, I think the only place they can wait for is Philly because I think that's the only offer where you're going to get a superstar return. Because I
Right.
think time and time again, we've seen when you have a top 10 player and you trade him for parts,
Hmm.
it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. They unless they're just gonna be like OKC and just totally restart from scratch. But Houston probably has crazy ticket prices to go
Mm,
see those games,
yeah.
and you only do that when you have a superstar that people want to come watch.